Hey, girl.
Oh, hello, Vivi.
Hi.
What are these ears? We are looking so festive out of Halloween up in here.
These are, I believe, Disney's
Christmas, I think.
25th celebration Disney blah, 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 blah.
Ooh, did you see all the lights that came up?
Yeah.
With all the,
Yeah.
don't they have the parade and all
grew up
that?
Disney family, so, and Southern California, I remember way back when if you had the Southern California, you were a resident, it was like $20.
Yep.
That's brilliant.
That was crazy. Yeah.
20
It was like mad cheap.
Yeah.
And
then
now
you
it's
just go. Now it's
500 for the
they've
year?
priced out a lot of
1,000?
folks.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I love holidays.
Yes.
I do. I loved having
Same.
Halloween, eating a lot of candy. That was fun.
Yes.
And then, it's funny how
We're
it's
getting
all
ready
set.
for Thanksgiving week now.
But
So
isn't it funny how the universe does this? It's like, or whoever created this schedule, it's like Halloween, which is like get stuff out of your system. And then it's like Thanksgiving, families come together, and it's like Christmas time. It gets more and more anxiety ridden for some people. Like I know a little bit for me,
and I didn't
leading into Christmas.
Yeah, I could see that. I didn't realize that was the case until I got older because I just loved holidays. I love Christmas. I love 15, 16.
Okay.
And my stepdad wasn't a great holiday fan.
Oh, okay.
And so, it was, but he partook and everything like that. But just personally, you go, oh, okay, he's not really a big fan of it.
Was it the gift giving and like the pressure and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think it has to just do with
Daisy and Lefty always have to be in this conversation. Hello.
I know.
All you dog owners out there, y'all know. They're cute.
Sorry, guys.
So was he?
My Chihuahuas think they're German Shepherds, and they're
feisty.
They're not.
Mm-hmm. But did you did he would wake up and do all the, what was your Christmas like? Yeah, growing up.
My mom did such a good job with the holidays. It was like, you woke up, you opened presents, they had their coffee, we'd celebrate, we'd play, and then we'd watch, the cartoons, the traditional card, the Mr. Snowman.
I just
Frosty.
saw that last year for the first time in my life. My husband sat me down and was like, "This is the one that flies." I was like, "What?" I've never in a Christmas.
Are you fucking kidding?
Never.
What did you watch? You got to wait a White Christmas.
I don't think we did. Every time a bell ring, my dad's favorite. What is that Christmas?
Like everybody loves A Christmas Story, but I really didn't watch Christmas Story. We would always watch the.
Is that the one with Ebenezer Scrooge? I watched that one for the first time too. Little Timmy.
No.
Christmas Carol?
that's A Christmas Carol.
Okay,
yeah, that's what we would.
It's
watch.
A Wonderful Life. That's what we would watch.
Watch
before.
that too. That was my dad's favorite movie. Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
but the Snowman, I never watched.
And then
that.
we'd always watch the Godfather series.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay,
because they,
Yeah. He was a man is in the house. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
So I never saw that Ebenezer Scrooge. I'm missing out on so much. So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, oh, because I don't know about you, but Christmas.
You never watched the Frosty the Snowman?
Never. Well, no, the one that they flew. That one.
Yeah.
No, never. I've never seen that. And so my husband was so excited and
so no music and no Frosty.
I know the song Frosty, but not like Frosty the Snowman. Like I know that one, but I don't know what we did because Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
We go out to dinner.
Yes.
Right. And then Mom would always have pajamas for us. So we'd all have to dress up in the same
that
pajamas.
is definitely one present where you get like the flannel pajamas
or
like the soft, cushy,
yeah, because those mamas want some cute photos the next day.
Always get new socks, always get new underwear, and then all the rest of the stuff. I just loved it. I loved it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then see, this is when I get excited about it. I know we have a lot of tips today to talk about with, like how to manage as an adult with family members. But when you're a kid, it's like you're just in there.
Yeah.
And I feel blessed. But and then the next day, we'd wake up early. I had two brothers. You were solo, right?
Yeah.
So I'd wake up early.
But it was also like family. So we'd either go to my aunt's place and see my cousins who were like my sisters, or
you guys would drive up
to Sacramento, or my mom had two other sisters, or we'd go to my Aunt Cindy's, and then she has her kids, and so we'd all cousins together. I mean, it was just, family time.
Yeah.
And I understand why that can be stressful.
Yeah. God bless my parents. Like they probably just had gone to bed with dealing with eating the cookie, the little Santa plate, stuff like that.
Honestly, I can't wait to kind of get into it.
You're
and this is going to be my first year. Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. He's going to be like 10 months at this point. 11,
well, it blows he's like 8 months now, pretty much. And you can hear him. But by the way, it's it's crazy because now I realize all the work they had to do. You have to buy the presents. You got to hide.
There was no Amazon back in the day. My mom had to fight for
keeping
Cabbage Patch dolls. Remember the fights that went on down there?
and
Yeah,
Teddy
at the mall.
Ruxpin.
Oh, that was a fight to be had.
But
yeah.
my thing is, I get keeping Santa alive. You got to create Santa and you got to keep Santa alive. And then, all the baking, the brownies and the chocolate chip cookies. And we love it. I love all that stuff, all the traditional things and setting that up for him and everything. It's going to be dope.
That's going to be great.
Again, my stepdad wasn't really into it, but he'd just go along with it, obviously, because, and now I get it too, holidays are for the kids, because after a certain point, it's just kind of like, how many times can you go out and get drunk and drink?
Yeah, that's true. But one rule that my mom always had and that I'm going to continue on, and I went to England with my husband, and his sister has 4 kids, and they're the cutest things in the whole world.
Adorable.
So I spent so much time going to England and like picking presents for them, picking them all out.
I love buying presents for people.
But I felt like I was on a deadline. Like I should have done it way earlier, but I wanted to pick little stuff out because I didn't know them as well.
Yeah.
However, I will never make this mistake again. I didn't say I want to watch each one of you open the present.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole process.
I turn around and all of them had opened it once and I didn't get to see their faces. And I'm like, I spent hours doing that. So from now on, Auntie Shanna is like the Nazi with presents. I'm going to be like, I want to see your face and I want to take photos of you.
So we have a whole process of Christmas morning opening presents thingy. I love to do it. So I separate all the presents that are underneath the tree. Again, blessed. My mom and dad made sure that it was plentiful underneath that tree, whether it was just like big boxes and you know what I mean? And then I'd separate it and make sure everybody had like a equal amount, although yes, the child has more.
Yeah.
And then you just go around the circle and you open presents one at a time.
Yes.
So that you can ooh and ah and appropriately give thanks and all that kind of stuff. So we do that now even because yeah.
Because then it goes by so fast and you spend so much energy and effort and you get to see those moments.
Yes.
Of
and
joy.
then you could take pictures and you could do, you know what I mean?
Yes. Call me selfish, but I'm making everybody do that from now on. Because if I just spent all that time wrapping it, getting it, all of that.
And I mean, I love gift giving. I love wrapping it. I love shopping for the presents.
I better start shopping now.
I start now.
Yep, exactly.
I do start now and go all the way to fully.
We're almost
and
there.
Thank God for Amazon.
No kidding. It's almost too easy. I'm like, oh, where's like the spirit? I have to like go out and fight for something at the mall. I still do.
Yeah.
So I love all of this. And in saying that, that's the fun part of Christmas. But leading in, and we're about to celebrate Thanksgiving this week.
Yeah.
Like, this is
that
real.
Starts
so
the holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more thing that I love about holiday, especially here. Well, it is here in Southern California. I don't know what other places do, but Coast 103, which is a radio station here in LA.
3.5. That one? Yeah.
They play Christmas carols nonstop all the way up until New Year's.
Okay, wait.
I love it.
I hate it.
I love it. I love it. I think it's amazing.
No.
And you know what? You could be aggro. You could be in a mood or something like that. And if you put on...
Here comes that. How many renditions can we have?
You get into a good mood. You're going through, and a lot of people do, driving like aggro.
Nonstop. Like literally, I'll turn on the station right now and it's like, here comes that. And it started like right after Halloween.
You gotta have like Mariah Carey. You gotta have like...
No, I literally will
and
only
everybody
listen
has a Christmas
to my
album.
CDs now. I listen to CDs, everybody. And I stream like books on tape because I'm just like, I can't, Vanessa. It's too many. They're everywhere. Every store I go into. Starting in September, I was starting to see Christmas trees at Costco. It's too soon.
Get into it.
I can get into it in like now. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're about to get really into it.
Girl, I know. Oh my God. Okay. So moving forward with this.
Okay.
Now we're gonna give some topics and we're gonna give some tips for this topic of anxiety going into Thanksgiving.
Yes,
Christmas,
because not everybody had the same kind of supportive, loving, blah, 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 Christmas. And let's just face it doesn't matter if it was happy, sad, whatever, families, when they all get together, and we're doing another show about family dynamics because that can get deep. And this is deep, but...
This is like festive holiday, like how to prepare for this deep,
But, everybody has that aunt or that uncle or your grandma or somebody that is...
Mother, father, sibling, some drug addict in the family. Y'all know, come on, let's get real here.
Yep, there's all that.
Or you go to friends' houses and then you get, then a lot of people are like, I just go to a friend's house. I don't deal with family. Then you have the guilt of that, though, because there's not.
There's a lot of Friendsgivings now, which I totally always have a Friendsgiving and then like a Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Totally.
But, in saying that, if you do have to go, so I've written a list over, because being a lifestyle coach, that's when people gain weight the most. That's when people sabotage this week, especially going into Christmas. This is when they just give up all of their goals. They just lose themselves mentally. And so they just start eating. Okay, and that's a big one.
To be fair, there's all that delicious food that's going to be made.
Agreed. But what I say about that is, are you eating it because it's enjoyable, or are you eating it to numb? So that's a lot of things, like leading up. Because if it is delicious, that's great. But have one slice. Don't have 4 and like hide it. You know what I mean?
You mean don't eat the whole pan of mac and cheese.
Exactly.
Right.
You still have to be mindful, because then you're going to be depressed once this week is over with Thanksgiving, then leading into Christmas. And then it's just going to be a whirlwind spin out. And then you do these stupid New Year's resolutions that we'll talk about, but you don't prepare for the new year correctly. You spin out and then you go, it's a new year. My mental health's going to change. No, it doesn't. You're still going to have the after effects of all of that.
Right.
So people have been talking. There's a big conversation, nonstop, asking us too. People have been writing.
Yes.
If you haven't if you haven't written to us, come on Twitter at Raw Talk Not Food. Also Instagram.
Yes.
Loving our community on Instagram, Facebook. Love it, you guys. Thank you for subscribing. In saying that, so people have been saying, how do I sit at a table? What do I do to prepare for my family? For, even if it's friends and it's your husband or wife's friend that you don't really want to go to, and you're supposed to stay home, but you have to do this for your spouse. You have to do this for your family, because there's obligations during the holidays.
Yes.
So I have come up with a list over time that have really helped my clients with their physicality, with their weight, with the way their approach going in.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to talk to you and give the tips to you, because I don't think you've heard them. You probably know about them, but tell me what you think of them, because it's been really successful for people in the past. This is why I wanted to bring it, because I'm guilty of it too.
Hit me.
Ooh, eat that, honeydew. I love it. Okay. The first one that I always talk about is adjusting your attitude going into a situation. So if your Aunt Wanda is going to ask you about, why aren't you married? Or if you gained that weight, or what's going on with the kids in divorce, or nitpicky.
Or when are you going to get pregnant?
Oh,
yeah.
It was just really rude anyway. Right. But so going into it, if you have the attitude of the way that any family member, or the way it was last year.
Yeah.
Because it was so negative, things were I've heard it all. So if you go into it negative, you're going to be defensive to start with. And it's going to be a bad time. Yeah. Would you agree? So adjusting the attitude.
Yes. And that is a Herculean effort. I understand that. I mean, it takes a minute. It can't just be like the hour before or in the drive to the place or what have you. I mean, you got to set your mind. I know for me, it's like, okay, it's this time of year. Let me do it. I needed like a week to just kind of get my mind and my whole thing in the groove and the mode of like, okay, we're doing a bunch of stuff we don't necessarily want to do. We got to show up. You just got to show up.
And that's the reason why you should eat clean and try to have your diet and your active ability. Like everything needs to stay
consistent.
Centered.
Yeah.
Yes, because you don't know what you're walking into.
Yeah.
The second one is for the opposite side of adjusting your attitude for the negative. The second one needs to be come in with realistic expectations.
Oh, yeah.
That's a huge one.
Yeah.
On either side. So if you walk in, you think there's going to be World War III, adjust the attitude, and there's more tips along the way that you can do to make things better.
Yeah.
However, if you know your mom's an alcoholic, you know things are going to go on. You know people are going to drink too much, and you think you're walking into like a Cinderella story with like Prince Charming and all that. It's not going to be the case. You have to have realistic expectations to prepare for it, right?
Well, the crazy thing, yes. And to add to that, the crazy thing is you already know, really, if you think about it, what's going to come up. You know what I mean? You know that whatever's happening in your life, whatever is happening in the family, it's going to come up. So just kind of predetermine, I would say, how you're going to handle it, what you're going to say, what you're not going to say, what you're going to do, what you're not going to do. If that happens, you're going to walk out. You're just going to stay quiet. You're just going to let it rock. You know, you just have to already know. And that really has helped me, honestly, in managing situations, so that whenever something does happen and you're like, holy shit, what?
Yeah.
Then it's almost like a surprise. And then everybody's kind of in the same place. So everyone just kind of deals with it as they do, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think having outs is a great way, because I was with an ex once and I had to do it for him, but his family was a nightmare. And so I made sure I didn't drink very much.
Yes.
I made sure, because if I needed to drive, or I made sure that, you know, there was no Uber at the time, I knew the local taxi's number. I also knew, you know, not to sit next to his mother. So certain things, and we'll talk about it later, but like put yourself in a situation where there's realistic expectations and how you can kind of navigate around that.
And be the buffer.
Have a car ready. Yeah.
Be the buffer for your person. You know, if you're showing up for, you know, for me, I'm showing up for my husband, then I'm going to be the buffer for him.
Right.
And vice versa. If it's me and my mom and her sisters and everything, all the cousins, you know, will show up for each other. So you just kind of, you know what I mean? You just be, I don't know, I want to say selfless, but it's also
for the bigger cause.
Yeah. It's like just self-care, and you kind of have to give into what, you know, the scenario is. I mean, you've been doing it ever since you were born, essentially.
So this is why going in with, you know, adjusting your attitude so that you can be okay in moments like that, you know, realistic expectations. And then the next one that I would say is you and your mate, or what, just promise yourself the upsetting topics that can come up, like we were talking about earlier, like politics, because it is.
So yes, because this whole last 4 years has been about that.
What we have to make sure is that we have to just make sure that if you know someone's a Republican, or if you know someone's going to trigger you, not to sit next to that person. And have an out to just go, oh, excuse me, I'm going to get up. Not get angry at it, yell at that person. You're never going to change their mind. If you have to be with that person in a sitting room or wherever the hell you have to be.
I got to go to the bathroom.
Gotta go. Exactly. But be prepared. It sounds simple, but like it can stun you and it can make you go crazy. You know?
This is like trigger weather. This is trigger season. Like, it's just it'll pop all over the place. So
that's a big one. So just like prepare for that.
All the tools you've been developing for your own livelihood. Like just it comes into effect.
And then what we talked about too is we talk about it in so many topics and conversation, is you can only control the controllable.
Yes.
So you have to remind yourself you're not changing anybody's mind. And anyone's conversation at this table. No. You're just going to go, okay. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I sit there, and because there's a lot of stuff that happens in family dynamic. And then when drinking comes, I stopped drinking a long time ago. Like I'll have a drink, then I'll have water, and, you know, go moment to moment with it. But if you start seeing that, just be careful with that.
I think as a family, we've agreed, like, we're not doing politics where we know that there are people on opposite ends of the spectrum. It will come up, but that's when people are of like mind or something like that, you know?
No.
Yeah. Okay. We've agreed this year to just.
That's smart.
Yeah.
And then the next topic is practicing gratitude.
Absolutely. That's
what it's
Vanessa. About. You know, just remember what the whole holiday is about, the giving, the being together. During Thanksgiving, I know what we like to do, because the last few years
we celebrated Thanksgiving last year. That was so nice.
And what we like to do is sit around the table.
Table.
Yes, exactly.
It's a great table.
And before we start eating and stuff like that, each person says something of what they're thankful for the year.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty, you know,
I wish
poignant.
we videotaped it.
Yeah. Because some were great and funny. Yeah.
After this year. Jeez. Yeah. But
yeah, this would be a poignant one. Probably do the same thing.
It was wonderful. So practicing gratitude and just reminding yourself, your aunt, your uncle, your whoever around, find the good in somebody, and just remember they're not going to be here forever. And it's not going to always be the same. No. So, you know, just find something good in that, because you have to control the controllable, and it's about your mindset.
Yeah.
And then if you just go negative, you're going to eat and drink and...
Yeah, remember, you can you can choose to be positive. It's a choice to be happy. It's a choice to be present. It's a choice, and that's your choice. Nobody else's. So don't blame anybody else. You know, people can really fall into victim mentalities and just and into the black hole of depression and stuff, and just do what you can to start looking at the positive. Look at, make gratitude lists, make look at happy things, ground yourself, step outside for a little bit, meditate, whatever it is that can bring you back to your centered place and that can let you breathe better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then going with that, exactly, you set that up for that, which is perfect, is I really like the tip of, and I've done this a few years, is bringing a happy reminder. Mm-hmm. So, like I found an old album of my parents. So like we got to talk about that. So it shifted from crazy conversation to being like, oh, tell me about this moment when I knew that everybody was in a happy place. It was cool times. And then it got it off of the present moment of any anxiety and crazy chaos that could be going on into like a fun young time with kids when we were kids. And so bring something that's a happy reminder,
I know for me, I get, because I'm an only child, I think that's where this comes from, but I can get overstimulated.
I bet.
And so I just need to kind of step away for a hot second, whether that's going to the bathroom and just fanning like an extra 10 minutes in there,
right?
And just getting back down to myself, zoning out on the phone, and just bringing the, all the stimulation, all the extra noise, all that everything, kind of cutting it out for a hot minute in the middle of all the festivities and the happiness going on. I just need to kind of, so I'll do that. I'll step away for 5-10 and then come back and then get back to it. But then I'm recharged and reset, and then I can keep going because it's a marathon kind of.
That's exactly right.
Holiday.
You're hydrating your mind. Yeah. Especially as an only child, I bet. Now it'll be fun with Apollo because you can bring him in and it's a deflecting kind of like from just you being talked at nonstop, and you can grab him and
100%
have fun with him. Yeah.
But at the same time too, even with the baby, I just, I'm still a person. You're still, I'm still a human.
You are?
I need,
not just a walking milk sack?
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
So you just need that, you need to kind of your own self, like even at night, right before, you go to sleep or whatever, I like to read a few pages, whatever, until I just pass out. But it's just a moment for yourself because people can get overstimulated. And sometimes you don't realize what it is. You're just calling it, oh, I'm stressed. Oh, it's just a lot. Oh, it's too much. But that's what it is. And maybe in the moment you can just find a way to kind of dip out for 2-3 minutes.
It's so smart.
Yeah.
Because
instead of picking up the bottle or whatever.
And eating.
Yeah.
So
yes, that too.
And another tip that I have with like not dipping out is try to sit at the table. Make sure you sit at the table when you eat. But if you're going to go for seconds, make sure you start with a big plate, because I see a lot of people at holidays where they have small little plates and then they just keep filling the plate, Yeah. Have one big plate so put it on there, see what you're eating so that you don't lose control of it. Yeah. And then when somebody starts talking about topics you don't like, you're just stuffing your face, So definitely breathing, because that was the last one that I was going to say that you're leading into this. This is good.
Nice.
Is practicing breathing beforehand. So you want to tell me, because I know we talked about it in the past, but I remind myself to breathe, but I don't take time in advance to really take time to breathe. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you do a good job at that. So what would you say to me before I walk into Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner? Like how to practice breathing?
Well,
it sounds ridiculous, but
I know it isn't really. Yeah. People just really need to kind of center themselves on whatever you need to do to center. We've talked over so many different things you could do over the course of the podcast. Yeah, you could grab a tree, remember, or you just
helped.
Yeah, sit and meditate. Have a quiet moment by yourself. For me, like I will. Now what I've been doing is meditating, just having a quiet moment to myself. You can hear all the noise on the outside, but at least you're breathing inside, eyes closed, and you're checking in. Do yoga, work out, something that that is for you, honestly. Some self-care, self-love before you enter those moments right there.
Yeah.
I mean, even I I love if I have the time. I don't have the time anymore, but I used to love
Vanessa. But
yes, yes. But going to things, sometimes I used to love taking extra long, just getting ready from the shower to the dressing to the makeup, and playing music the entire time that I love. My feel good like 90s R&B stuff that feels great. And so
I love R&B 90s.
And so it'll center and it'll make me feel good, and then all of a sudden I'm just in a happy place on the way going to, you know what I mean? And I feel cute, and there you go.
Smart.
Yeah. So it's just anything like that, but it's something for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I even take before I go play, like I take it to just shower on my own, listen to music, same thing.
Sure.
And then I also, another health tip is I will eat a snack, a big one, before I go.
Yeah.
Because the moment I go in a place with a lot of chaos and food, I'm that fat kid again. I am just like, yes. So I'll definitely eat beforehand.
Yes.
Or else I get cranky too. I don't know when you're serving the food. Shit.
I'm picky. Boom.
Right.
I'm picky. And so therefore my family knows that. So they always make sure they all call me and be like, what are you going to eat? What do you eat? Like,
yeah.
And I'll bring candies or snacks in my bag for me to chomp on if I don't like something.
Yeah.
So I never leave it up to them to, you know what I mean? And that, so that resolves a lot of issues. But yeah, like food wise, you know, you just pick and choose, and don't let anybody bully you or shame you. You know what's going to happen.
Don't sit next to that person.
But just be firm and just be like, I don't do it.
I don't eat pork. Y'all have known this for 25 years. Like, leave me alone. 30 years. Yeah.
So
you're a vegetarian.
Sometimes you just got to own it. Yeah. Yeah. So, exactly. And it is what it is. So you're just going to get through it, you know? And that's what I was about to say. Like, we talked about this before, I believe. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to be the one that goes no. Yeah. Or give yourself permission to eat all that food that's going to be there because you love it and you don't want to feel guilty or bad for having or for wanting to eat it.
Right.
You know, you're going to take food home because there's always going to be leftovers, and then you're, you know, be happy to have like food for the next 2-3 days. Like, it's just be okay with everything that's going on because it's not part of the normal routine holidays, right? So it's okay that you'll have a different night. It's not one of the normal nights where you just, you know, you watch your TV, you shower, you get into bed and you click out. Like, you're staying up later. You're seeing more people that you don't normally see. So it's okay because it's not every day. And it just is what it is.
Yeah. And remember, have gratitude and patience during it. And just remember that we're all together in this. And also, I think another tip too is have a friend that you can prep beforehand to talk to if you need to have your moment of silence or just someone's attacking you. Just be like, Aunt Betty is attacking. And so that person knows, so they can kind of be there for you and you can be there for them because it's not an isolated thing that people's families, it can be crazy. Yeah. And then I've had to learn how to not drink so much because my family especially, they'll be like, oh, there you go. Shauna's drinking another drink again. Oh, she's just getting dramatic. And I'm like, okay. No,
really?
Oh, you have no idea. Yeah, because I say things.
Family
because I say
shame.
things that I always say. Yeah. And then I just say it, you know,
they're just not used to it because they're not around you regularly. Right.
Or they are, and they're just like used to patterns, right? Sure. They go in used to other times that I've had a drink and then just said exactly how I feel. Because I'm emotional during the holidays anyway, and then that elevates it. But, you know, so I just don't really drink as much around them, especially. Yeah. You know, I'm just like, I'll drink my coffee right after. And so it just preps me to not be triggered as much. Yeah. That's really, So that's what it is. Okay. So my list, what do you think about it?
I think it's brilliant. I think that's great. That's
nothing crazy and new, but it's a good reminder for everybody. So adjusting attitude. Yep. Right. When you walk in there, having realistic expectations. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Upsetting conversations off topic, just knowing where to pivot and who to sit next to, prepping in advance. You can only control your reaction. Exactly. Control the controllable, right? Yep. Put your boundaries in, folks. Yeah. Yeah. And like we talked about in the boundary episode is saying, thank you if you're late. Why are you so late? Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. You know, not instead of so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, don't walk in leading with that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And then practicing gratitude. Yep. Remember, it won't always be like this. And then bring a happy reminder. have a friend on speed dial if you need to, or ready to text, and then breathing and really practicing moments of.
Yeah. And that was the thing about the boundary thingy. Just, sometimes if somebody is not listening to you and they're just, not caring about your feelings or what you have asked of them, just be like, okay, I'm going to go now because you're not listening to me.
Yeah.
And then they look like the ass.
You don't even have to say, let's just say, I have to go. It's so good seeing you.
Yeah.
You don't have to give, no is a full sentence. We talked about this. Yeah. You do not have to explain any of that. Yeah. Have manners, going to someone's home.
Sure.
Even if it's family, have manners, but walk yourself out. Have Uber ready, have your car ready. Just so you feel like you're not trapped. Because when I feel like I'm trapped in a situation, it's like it's a hostage situation, family.
And the only thing I would say now, after all of that, because I think everything we've said so far is pretty great, is just remember to have fun.
Yes.
I have to remind myself to have fun. It's supposed to be fun.
You're right.
And play.
Yes.
I think now, especially in the world now, people have to remember how to play. As adults, we don't play as much because we're always concerned about work and, bills and blah, 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 blah. And you can play. You can have fun. You can have joy. And these are moments meant for that stuff. So why not?
It's a great last send-off for that.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Learn how to play. Yeah. And find a kid in the room. If there's kids, please find a kid. There's nothing like...
If the adults are doing the most, jump in on them. They're great.
Yeah. They live in the moment. They're present. They don't care about politics. Just sit with them and enjoy and watch the snowman, because I was 35 years late watching this snowman, and I had so much joy.
Oh, yeah.
And just watching joyful things for the first time with kids, it's so fun for the first time.
I cannot wait to get into all that stuff. I swear. We discover all the Disney movies, all the Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
I can't wait. But
so fun.
There's many, so everything we just said, there's many outlets.
Yeah,
you just have to
remind yourself of them.
And
play. Yeah. So we want to hear what you guys think. Yeah. Tell us.
How do you guys handle it? What do you guys do?
Please, I still need insight for this, right? Any great tips? Yeah, seriously. So and just prepare now for not losing yourself for the new year. Because it's always, and we'll talk about New Year's resolutions, but it's just like you lose yourself, you spin out of control, and then you're like, everything's going to change January 1st. No, it does not. No. We'll get into that deeper. But yeah, so don't forget, follow us at Raw Talk Not Food, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm at Shanna Ferrigno on Instagram. Vanessa, you'll disclose yours later. I don't know if you're out. I think you're private.
I'm private.
Yeah,
whatever.
I like
because they got the baby. I don't want the baby out there like that. But we have Raw Talk Not Food.
All of Vanessa. So that's where it's at.
Follow us on Raw Talk Not Food on Instagram.
I love it. And happy holidays. Here we go. Woo-hoo.